Spotlights shine them bright, gonna have a brand new show tonight. With glitz and glam on the marquee, perhaps a Tony nominee. Stars beam brightly, see them glow, sell out nightly, SRO. It's time to applaud the Broadway beat. Stars beam brightly, see them glow, in the footlights of a show. Life is sweet on the world's most famous street.
Tickets, please.
Take a seat.
Cue the band.
And tap your feet to the rhythm of the Broadway beat. The Broadway beat. Broadway beat.
Hello, I'm Richard Ridge, and welcome to Broadway Beat, our weekly half-hour behind-the-scenes look at the very best of the New York theater on Broadway and beyond. This week we'll take you to the opening night celebration of the new production of Michael Bennett's Pulitzer Prize-winning musical, A Chorus Line, which is just opened at the Show and Fell Theater. We'll stop by the opening night celebration and chat with the new cast. But we start things off by giving you a sneak peek at the upcoming one-night-only benefit concert of the Actors Fund of America, which will take place on Monday evening, October 16th at the August Wilson Theater. It's the musical The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, which is about the infamous Chicken Ranch. It features a book by Larry L. King and Peter Masterson and has music and lyrics by Carol Hall. The evening will be directed by Mark S. Hobie and features choreography by Dennis Jones. The associate producer and artistic director is once again Seth Rudetsky. The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas will star Emily Skinner as Madam Miss Mona and features the original Annie star herself, Andrea McArdle, as Doatsey Mae. Here's a look at The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas in rehearsal.
This is oddly the easiest one we've done in terms of getting the show together quickly. Well, first of all, we've always done these mega musicals like Dreamgirls, Hair, and Chess, which is like 2 hours of straight music. So this year is delicious. It's like 12 numbers. I taught all the music like the first day. So it's been so much easier than ever. Plus, Dennis and Mark are so on their gig. It's not like, let me see what it looks like. They come in like this, and it's just like choreographed. I mean, we were like ready to go a week ago. I mean, it's crazy how quick this year is going. The other years were just much more like, just so complicated musically. And also Emily Skinner literally just walked in and she's just like, I'm off book. I was like, how? It's just everyone is so on their gig here. It's unbelievable. So this year is easy. We'll see.
We were talking about that you knew this from a mega mix, I'm sure from a Tony tape or something with those two numbers, that's what you knew of the show early on when you first made your little speech. So now that you've worked on the big show, what attracted you to this? And this show ran over 1,500 performances on Broadway. What do you think the connection is with the audience and why so many people ran to see this show?
Tits and I mean, it's literally something for everybody because the girls are like HOT and the guys are like full crazy underwear. So I mean that definitely is a major draw. And it's like, they always go like, I want to do nudity unless it's important for the plot. Well, it is important for the plot. So like it's an amazing chance to see like the craziest, hottest bodies. Plus the music is like, there's a real skill to like very simple songs that are incredibly tuneful. Like, because people can write really complicated things that give me a headache or really simple and I'm like, that's boring. But Carol wrote these songs that are so simple, but they're so tuneful. 24 Hours 11 is 2 chord changes, or 4, but they're amazing. And Little Bit of Pissant Country plays, it so stays in your head. It's a great, great score.
Barbara, did you get yours? Okay. All right. Next.
Everybody say 4.
Well, I've always wanted to work on one of these benefits because I think it's such an incredible event and such a great cause. And The show is very dear to me because in 1980, I was in the last bus and truck set by the original dance captain, Jerry Yoder. And then I directed and choreographed a production a few years later in Chicago. And I just always found it fun and sweet and lovely. And when they asked me, I was just thrilled to jump on board and to work with the team, with Seth, who I've known for a long time, and Dennis Jones. I thought it was a great opportunity for a fun evening and just a wonderful celebration to help out the Actors Fund.
You know, this is one of those shows I know played over 1,500 performances on Broadway. It's one of those shows that just, got into the heart of audiences. What is that? What is that all about?
I think it's because it really is a story, that story of Hooker with a Heart of Gold. I mean, it really is about these wonderful, really good-hearted women who are take control of their lives and against all adversity, rise above. And it all comes from Mona, but all the way down to Angel Shy, all of the women. And it's really, it's an odd time to look back at this because it was the 70s, so there's some things that certainly happened then that aren't happening now. But the underlying message is strength and confidence in women controlling their own destiny. And I think that's something that resonates with people. And it just was always a fun, great evening with boys with their shirts off and sexy women,
We can't wait to see that on Monday. Talk about the challenges of directing, a full-fledged musical in such a short amount of time.
Well, we were talking about that the other day, and Encores has really changed sort of the shape of what the concert reading is, and put a lot of pressure on people to sort of expand that format. So even though they call this a concert, it's sort of a semi-staged production. It's somewhere between concert and production. As you saw earlier, there's fully choreographed numbers. The principals will carry their books, their scripts and book scenes and stuff, but it's incredibly difficult because we have about 11 days of rehearsal and we never have everybody there at the same time because people are donating their time, and we have like Jennifer Hudson, who's in the Dreamgirls movie, flying out from LA. She's not even arriving till Thursday right before the concert, so we have to match her schedule to Terry Mann, who's doing another reading, and all these wonderful ensemble performers who are doing 8 shows a week, and the producers, and Lion King and whatever. So it's crazy, but the great thing about it is that everybody who's doing it is dedicating their time. They really want to be here. They have a wonderful attitude. They're off working in a corner saying, what did I miss? Help me out. And they all know that the wonderful evening that will come on Monday is only out of their generosity. And so everybody pitches in, and it all comes together somehow.
Doatsey Mae, playing as great, respectable. Doatsey Mae, day by day, respectable. Doatsey Mae, the one nobody thinks of having dreams. Ain't as simple as she sings.
She reminds me a little bit of that Mabel Normand character, very much so. Doatsey Mae is very smart. If it weren't for that chicken ranch in town, Doatsey Mae would be a happening girl. But she's overshadowed by all of this, tardiness in this tiny little town. And but there's a part of her that really, really wants to go there because it's around her all the time. So I think that if she weren't as smart, it would be easier for her to kind of give in to being, one of the whores in the house. And it's a heartbreaking number. It's sweet. It's a great country song. I've always loved country music, and you have a little bit of that Brenda Lee in there. So trying to channel a little Patsy Cline, a little Brenda Lee. And keeping it, pure Broadway.
Great, it's a blast. It's such fun material, and it's always fun to play a whore.
But a classy one.
Yeah, a very classy one. Very classy one. She is. She's very classy. That's a good way of putting it.
I have so many fond memories. I saw Carlin Glynn do the original. I saw Anne Margaret do the tour last year on the road. Really great. Tell me what she's like to play, because she's a really great woman with a great heart. I know it's sort of new to you with rehearsal process with this show. Did you know it before going into it?
I knew a couple of songs from it. I knew Hard Candy Christmas, and I knew 24 Hours of Lovin', but I didn't really know the score, and I've been sort of listening to the cast album of it, and the more I listen to it, the more I like it, It's a great score, and it's such a fun piece, and it's great writing, and Miss Mona's so fun. I feel like she's the smartest person on the stage, you know, and it's she's such a sort of multi-dimensional character, you know, because you look at her and you think she's one way, but she's really so much more than that, and that's always wonderful to play somebody who is more than you think they are, you know.
We're gonna walk and stop and whoop it up tonight. Those little gals won't never, ever be the same. They're gonna love it when we walk and stop and whoop it up, alright. It's even better than an Eagle game. Better than a football game?
Well, I mean, I've been working sort of on the sly, doing pre-production on this probably for the last month, and fortunately I have Gabriela Garcia and Peter Gregas who have been assisting me on this, who have just been invaluable contributors, and I actually started rehearsing that number before we started rehearsals with everybody in this process, just because I knew that it was going to be a monster of a thing to put together, so I, you know, still a little extra time to work on that. But, you know, once again, it comes down to being blessed with these amazing talents who are so quick and have such great attitudes and, you know, retain information. And, I mean, these guys are brilliant. So they make my life so much easier in terms of putting these things together, which you have to so quickly. And, you know, and I also know that they'll just sell the hell out of it on the night, too. So that relieves me of a certain, you know, level of worry.
These boys were so in sync, and it's a big Aggie group, and I was thinking just coinciding the schedules to rehearse must be a headache.
Yeah. I mean, that's the hardest thing about these is people have lives, apparently, and their show schedules and, you know, other commitments, and you know, as it is a benefit, we certainly have to work around that and accept that they, you know, can be here when they can be here, and when they're not, that's okay too. But it does make it somewhat complicated when not everybody's in the room, but, you know, hey, they do their work outside of here. They, you know, talk to each other. They rehearse on their own. I'm not worried about any of them. They're all amazing, amazing performers.
Michael Bennett's landmark musical, A Chorus Line, is back on Broadway at the Show and Fell Theater. Mr. Bennett conceived, directed, and choreographed this masterpiece about 17 dancers auditioning for a Broadway musical who bear their souls along the way. A Chorus Line features music by Marvin Hamlisch, lyrics by Edward Kleban, and a book by James Kirkwood and Nicholas Dante. The original production, which still remains the longest-running American musical in Broadway history, went on to win the Pulitzer Prize and 9 Tony Awards, including Best Musical. This new production is directed by the original Tony Award-winning co-choreographer Bob Avian, and Mr. Bennett's choreography is being restaged by original cast member Byork Lee. We recently stopped by the opening night celebration for A Chorus Line to chat with the creators and the new cast.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Very proud, very proud. I think it's a wonderful cast. The show holds up beautifully. It doesn't feel dated to me at all. It feels very much like it's about today's world, today's kids, today's whatever. And it's just, I think, something that's very special in my heart because of Michael Bennett and Ed Kleban, and these guys did a great job, you know. And Bob Avian, of course, has now brought it back and done a wonderful job with Byork, and so I'm very, very, very happy about it.
It must have brought back so many memories for you. Talk about working with Michael Bennett, what it was creating this brand new musical that no one had ever seen the prototype for before.
The first time I ever met Michael Bennett, I said to him after watching some of his work, I said to him, I'm putting you down in my Rolodex under G for genius, not B for Bennett. He's always remained in my book under G. He was a visionary. He saw it, and he probably knew how to make something on Broadway sizzle. It's kind of interesting if you notice, this is his year. You got Chorus Line, you got Dreamgirls, you know, so he was certainly ahead of the curve, you know.
Let's talk about the audience's reaction. The night that I was there was young kids.
Yeah.
There were 10-year-olds, 20 years old.
I think that this talks to each generation, and I think that tonight, even though it's a special audience, I was here a couple of days ago, same type of audience going crazy, so that's wonderful. The word of mouth is wonderful, and that's what makes the show.
How proud would Michael Bennett be tonight?
Oh, kvelling.
Yeah, I started as a chorus dancer, and then I became a principal actor, and then I became a director, and now I'm able to do sort of all three at the same time in this role. So I relate to all the aspects of Zach. At the end of the show, when I'm with the rest of the chorus and we're all part of the finale, you know, that's the world I started in. So it's really kind of pulling my whole world full circle for me, which is, you know, it's such a privilege to be a part of this show, and I am madly in love with this cast, every one of them. I think they're so full of love and life for the art form. I think it's really important, and I think New York is really ready, don't you? For something so joyous and historic to come back. It's simple, it's clean. You have to really do it well because there's nothing to hide behind, you know. There's no giant set pieces. It's all about real people telling real stories and doing it in a theatrical way. I love it. I just love it.
You start.
Oh God, great! Stupendous, like a milestone, relief, and anticipation of the run to come.
Oh yeah, absolutely relief. It's been a 9-month, slow hill, and now we're here, and it's all of a sudden we're at the top of the mountain. It's amazing. It's absolutely wonderful.
Well, tell me what the journey's been like with just working on this show.
Well, it's been interesting because, of course, this isn't it's a recreation, so we're not doing something brand new. So it was really nice to know, okay, Judy, you're on 4. Okay, great, I'm going. And it was really nice to know that I didn't have to fight for a spot. I knew that Patricia Garland put me there, and I loved it. And I loved going there, and instead of worrying about, where do I go, I was able to take what I had and use what I had as a person to just sit there and create this role, and I'm sure you feel the same way.
Yeah, within the confines of what Michael Bennett gave us, we have all this freedom to actually develop characters of our own, and that's amazing. I'll also say that working with people who you've seen in other shows, finally on the stage with them and sharing the space, it's been an awesome experience.
Yes. It was. It's like we're giving this back to an audience, and it's like we're just giving this to them, and from our hearts, we're completely sincerely, honestly, and it's just such a joy to do this every night. I think
every night, and we have. I think Tony and I came together and really evolved our relationship as husband and wife in the business, and also really going to the reality of not being able to sing in this business. So it's been awesome to be able to play with that, play with the song, play with each other. It's been fun.
Because you both play Al and Christine, who are the married couple in the show, and the chemistry between the two of you is such an important thing, and you guys have it.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, it's just fun. We get to just be fun on stage. We get to play a little bit. Our director was a little lenient with what we could do on stage. He kind of trusts us, so we got up there and we just kind of play with each other every night. Like a married couple would do, bicker and fight and love each other, and it's great.
And him being there for me too, and having that support as Christine, forgetting her sentences and stuff like that. It's like I need him. I can't be up there without him. So it's been a great help. And his voice, hello.
It has been a dream come true. It has been a fulfillment. This literally was my first show I ever did professionally. Ever to get paid for. So to come in here and to get to do this in the same role is just fulfilling. And to have, Bob Avian and Bayark to hand it to me, it's just so satisfying. I feel like I'm anointed. Oh, yes, you really can do the show. I don't know. It's a really nice feeling.
And talk about the role that you play.
Oh, Gregory Gardner. It's so funny. I knew Chris Chadman, and I studied with him. Yeah, you knew him. I loved him. He really made me a Broadway dancer. I certainly went to Broadway Dance Center, and I worked as a scholarship student for him. For the place, and I ended up taking his class a lot, and he brought me into Broadway, and just watching him, and he was the prototype for my part, one of the prototypes, Gregory Gardner, Chris Chapman.
How proud would Chris have been tonight?
Oh my God. Yeah, I think he would be, and I think he would be very happy that it was me too. Actually, I think we kind of had a nice connection. So, yeah, and I think he's smiling down. I really do.
You get goosebumps during the show like we do as the audience?
Oh yeah, and what's beautiful is it happens in different places every single night. That's how alive the show is. The piece is that alive, and that's such a rare thing to be in a show that it does like, oh, okay, it knocks you right when you think, oh, I got it. No, you don't. It sneaks up on you, and it's amazing as an actress to get a chance to experience that.
You have so many incredible moments in the show, but doing at the ballet, what that means?
It's when I first saw the show, it was not my favorite number. And now that I'm older, I've connected to a different way. And then on top of that, my own personal story with the family, it hits so hard tonight. It was really hard to keep it together, to be honest with you. But to get a chance to do that number and to do it with Alison Porter and Mara Davi is a dream come true, because I'm in heaven. I feel like the luckiest girl in the whole world.
Everything was beautiful at the ballet. Graceful men lift lovely girls in white. Yes, everything was beautiful at the ballet. I was happy at the ballet. One morning, sis won't go to dance class. I grab her shoes and tights and all, but my foot's too small, so I stuff her shoe with extra socks. Run 7 blocks in nothing flat, and I can do that. I can do that.
This is, to be a cliche, but totally true. It's a dream come true for me, to be honest. I mean, it's amazing. What can I say? And it's an honor to be a part of this.
I agree. I mean, this is like everything you see in the movies and on television, and the fact that this is all about us and tonight is just, it's, you know, I agree with him. It's just incredible. I mean, this speechless is just how I feel right now.
Of course, you follow in the footsteps of the great Sammy Williams, and you in the footsteps of the great Wayne Cilento.
Yeah.
So what was it like tonight of having a lot of the originals out in the audience tonight, and Marvin Hamlish?
You know, well, Marvin is awesome. I've met with him before, and he's been a part of this process, and he's been great and completely supportive. In terms of having all those other people in the audience, I really just tried not to think about that at all, because the whole point of the show is that nobody is there. So I just tried to give it, you know, my best shot the way I would do any other show, which is putting all my focus on Zach and getting the job.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely found myself thinking about it a little bit before the show, and then kind of like Jason, it was truly, okay, zone it all out. And anytime I felt myself drifting, I was just like, you are here to get this job. That's your mission tonight. That's it. So, and the more I did that, the more I just did my show and had a blast.
Amazing. It's overwhelming. It's a beautiful night. I mean, thinking about the original cast members being out there was probably the most moving part of the night for me.
How well did you know the show before you were cast?
I knew it. I had seen it. I had done it in college. I'd grown up with it. It means a great deal to me. It's always been a part of my life.
And talk about the role that you play.
I play Maggie Winslow, and I mean, she is the part I've always wanted to play in this show. She's dear to my heart. She's kind of a shy girl, but with a huge passion for performing, and she really touches my heart.
Oh, I feel on top of the moon right now. It's pretty amazing. It's really exciting, totally exciting. I mean, you know, it's chorus line, and it took me to get to this point tonight to actually have it click. I know what all these people are talking about and what it means, you know, so.
Talk about what it's been like working on this with Bjork Lee and Bob Avian and Marvin Hamlish.
Well, personal experience to this point, I never saw the movie, I never saw the stage production, so I didn't know what Chorus Line was truly about until, you know, I got to work with Bjork and Bob. And Michael Gorman, we have to say his name because he's right there along with them. So it's just an amazing experience to find out all these stories that are so rich in history,
30, 35 years old, and we get to represent them, but also bring our own personal stories as gypsies. I've personally been in this business for 12 years now, and it's brought me kind of back to roots as an ensemble member, because we are all ensemble members. We just happen to be a principal member just by a contract for this show. But other than that, we're an ensemble, and this is for every ensemble member who has ever performed in any show. Broadway, regional, stock, whatever.
So much fun. I'm so honored to be able to portray a part that I have loved since I was so young, and I know there are so many people who come up to me and go, tits and ass is my favorite one, tits and ass is my favorite one, so that's a lot of pressure too. But no, I get to have so much fun and not really care every night, and just go out there and give them my stuff.
And to watch kids, I've seen kids walk in to see this production who don't know about musicals, don't like musicals, don't understand, and they sit there and they're mesmerized, and they walk out and say, I've never seen anything like this before. And it is mesmerizing to a lot of young people, because this is a form of theater that, well, regretfully doesn't really exist anymore. And Michael's genius was so extraordinary that it never really went any further. He did it with Dreamgirls, but that's what's important to me, that young people can see it and be inspired to become a dancer or an actor or whatever,
How proud would Michael Bennett be tonight?
Well, I hope. That's my dream, that somewhere he's around us right now, smiling down at us, because there was nobody I was closer to as a friend, as a client, and we did it for him really as much as anything else. I think he's happy. I really do.